Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is just regarding the current state of update 41 and just like my personal opinions and just my little rants about the classes and what everyone's running at the moment and what changes, etc, etc. So I would say the first thing I would say is the classes. So I would say the sorcerers at the moment are really strong. I'll just go into my sorcerer real quickly. With the changes to the Harden Ward, doing the burst heal, which is really nice. It's sort of put the sorcerers right at the forefront of the classes. I would say it's definitely made a big deal with the Harden Ward and the having that burst heal. So if we just assign it there, so every time you do that you get a nice burst heal. Just go to the buff so I can show it quickly. But yeah, it's really even though it's not a strong burst heal, but if you stack the max magicka it can go up pretty good. Where does show overhealing? That's the one I need. Show overhealing. Oh, it's got video on. It should be showing. Well, it's not showing, but yeah, that's you get an A burst heal. So on this particular character, it's 5,500 health. So I've seen people use this on Stam sorcerers as well, and Mage sorts, of course, in PvP, nice and strong. Obviously, there's some use for it in PvE. If you just want to protect yourself a little bit, if you're not running full damage and you just want a little burst heal and a shield for a bit of survivability. Obviously for solo and open world it's really nice. Obviously with the changes to the passive of the, if I can find it, expert summoner, so they've changed that so you get extra health if you've got pets active, which is nice on the pet sorcerers and stuff. So obviously you're going to be a bit more tankier if you're going to have a bit more health, and obviously if you're not running any pets, which a lot of people are not in PvP anymore, you get an extra stamina and magicka. So I would say sorcerer's in a very good place. They've made some other changes to some spells. I haven't really tested them out yet, but I think they are quite good. But yeah, the sorcerers in this patch are definitely, like I said, almost Nightblade tier. I still think Nightblade is obviously the best for everything. So if we go into the next ones, I'd say is Templars. Yeah, Templars are not too bad. They're still lagging behind. I'd say the Templars and the Necros are the ones that are probably not as good. They're sort of been left behind. They still go okay. They have their places for their certain things. This is just my Templar healer at the moment I'm on. I think they did make some changes to the purifying light, or the power of the light. It gives you I think it applies the sundered status effect. So it's had a tiny little buff, but I haven't been seeing a lot of Templars at the moment too much in PvP wise. So the Templars definitely need a little bit more love, but I wouldn't say it's more sorcerers I've been seeing quite a lot of in battlegrounds and stuff. I'll move on to the other classes, so I'm just going to go on classes and I'll talk about sets and things. So again, it's just another sorcerer which we've talked about. Again, the Nightblades are, I just would say they are just top dog for everything at the moment. They've just been buffed time and time again. So I normally do a lot of Nightblade builds because it's just so easy to do high burst damage. They've got a high burst heal. They have everything. They have the mobility. They've just got everything going for them. And that's not about to change this patch. Where is that skill? So yeah, concealed weapon, they did change that. So it doesn't give major berserk anymore. So it won't buff your other skills. But they've buffed the skill itself with a 10% unique damage done for that ability. So if you find another source of major berserk from, say, Wrecking Blow, two-handed from the uppercut, or say from Sea Serpents, you can see that you can stack obviously even more damage, so it is technically a buff. So the Nightblades are looking very, very strong. I've seen a lot of Nightblades. There's a lot of burst ones, of course. So that, yeah, it's looking very, very good for Nightblades. It's definitely a class to play. I would say at the moment Sorcerer and Nightblade are definitely top at the moment. So we go into the Dragon Knights. The Dragon Knights, I think, they're pretty good. I don't think, you know, even with the nerf to the, I've had a couple of little nerfs and adjustments. Say with the burning status effect and things have been toned down a little bit. I don't think it's affected them too much. They still seem to be very tanky, very strong. They're just, you know, very solid units. I've still seen a lot of Dragon Knights. They're very, very powerful. I don't know if they've changed. I can't remember if they changed any of the passives. I think I might have done. But again, it's nothing too major. I haven't noticed a massive change on the Dragon Knights. They are still, I would definitely put them in like an A tier. Wouldn't say S tier. They're almost, you know, an S tier, but I would say definitely Sorcerer and Nightblade are the S tier at the moment, with the Dragon Knight following closely behind. But yeah, they're still in a good place. Very, very strong. And we go to the Necro. Again, they've had some adjustments to the blast bones and stuff. I haven't actually played the Necro on the latest patch at the moment, because obviously we're trying to think of some builds I can do with it. But that is not to say that Necros, they are in a bad place. I haven't even got the correct morph because the morph's been changed. But they've made some adjustments to the skills on the Grave Lord line. So I should be running the other one. I've seen a lot of people running the Stalking Blast Bones, the Stamina Morph, and a lot of people using Dark Convergence on Necros. Unfortunately, that's probably the only way to really make them super strong, is with Dark Convergence, dropping, say, like the Colossus with Blast Bones combo, sort of hitting you all at once. I have seen some more Necros definitely this patch. They're definitely more noticeable. They've made a little bit of a comeback, and I have been hit with a couple of nasty bursts, like I said, but it's normally Dark Convergence, or if they're not running Dark Convergence, it's normally some sort of block tank or something, troll tank. But yeah, the Necros, they're not too bad. They've definitely had a little bit of a buff. Of course, they're still bottom tier. You really have to go out of your way to make them work. But like I said, they all seem to excel with the Dark Convergence. I've seen a lot of good bombers, and even one-on-ones, they can do a lot of damage. It's just very, very difficult to put together, unfortunately. So hopefully there'll be some more updates for Necro. But I would say they are definitely more. There's definitely more of them in update 41, without a doubt. So again, we'll move to the Warden. So the Wardens have had a buff, because obviously if you're running, they do primarily go on the frost damage. So they've took a buff because the chilled status effect has been buffed, and also their ultimate, the Northern Storm Permafrost, I think has had a weapon and spell damage increase. I think it was 300. Now it goes up to I think it's about 400. Which is quite nice. So it takes longer to build up, but it has had a significant buff overall, I would say, if you build into frost damage. So I think Wardens are in a really good place. They're very tanky with a super high health. This one in particular has got a lot of health. And they've got crazy healing. I've come across some good Wardens, but I wouldn't say there's as many. But I'd definitely put Wardens probably, you know, like they're still probably A tier, you know, without a doubt, for healing and tankiness and just massive health. As I said, that as long as you stack into frost damage this patch, with chilled status effect, you're definitely going to do well on a Warden. And the final class is the Arcanist. So the Arcanist, I think, you know, it's received some nerfs, but it doesn't seem to have changed anything too much. They still seem to be very strong. They did nerf the pragmatic fate carver, but it's, like I said, it still seems to be hitting reasonably well. Not as many people are beaming, but the beam is still very strong in PvP, and even been in PvE. I've seen a lot of people use it, still hitting really high damage. They also nerfed their big shield, but again, I don't think it's much of it has changed really with the Arcanist. They're still pretty strong. I'm still seeing a lot of them. Yeah, so definitely not really much has changed. They're similar to the Dragon Knights. They've not really been touched too much. They still feel the same, in my personal opinion. The Arcanist and Dragon Knights are similar. They're very tanky, and they haven't been fiddled with too much. They still feel very solid. I'd definitely put even the Arcanist A tier. I'd only put the yeah, like I said, the Templar and the Necro in sort of like a B or C tier. But yeah, there's definitely been some changes. Like I said, there's definitely more Necros I've seen, not as many Templars, and the Arcanist. There still seems to be a lot of Arcanists, a lot of Dragon Knights, but obviously there's definitely more Sorcerers, because you can just really, it's easy to play now. They've made the Sorcerers become a lot more, whereas they was tricky to manage, now they're quite easy to play. And I would say the sets, they said they nerfed, or we talk about sets and stuff and what people are running. So the sets that, that have been nerfed, that people said that were nerfed, which was really incorrect, to be honest, which was the Master's Dual Wield. Again, I don't think you see as much of it, but it's definitely still the meta. The Master Lost, the Dual Wield, the Veteran Ice Staff and all that stuff, that combo, the Way of Fire. It's definitely not, they've nerfed it with the status effects, but it's not really made much of a difference. You're still seeing a lot of people using the Rending Slashes. I think I've got on this character, yeah, they're still using that. It's still hitting really hard as long as they've got the weapon damage. The Master's Dual Wield is still hitting super strong. Like I said, it has took a bit of a hit, but they just have to build into a little bit more damage than health. But I've still seen is very strong, and is still definitely the meta without a shadow of a doubt. It's definitely running proc sets. Master's Dual Wield, it's still all there, and it is not going away anytime soon, this patch. So expect to still be hit by all them crazy dots, and of course the annoying Veteran Ice Staff, which when you cast weakness, it just gives you free damage. And just hits everyone with flame, shock and frost damage, or the individual target, tethers you to them, and it is just a very nasty thing. So that, yep, you're definitely seeing that in like battlegrounds and stuff, so it's not gone away at all. So it's like set wise, yes, you're still seeing Way of Fire a lot. Yeah, Master's Dual Wield definitely being run. The Master Lost, I don't think as much, but it's still being run. I think a lot of people are turning to maybe Balor just to stack that weapon damage a little bit higher, just to hit because to make the Master's Dual Wield work, you need to make sure you have sufficient weapon damage. So you need to be hitting like 7-8k. So obviously people are stacking more into weapon damage to achieve that, and they are still getting the same results as previous patch. So that is still very much the meta. A lot of people seem to be running Rallying Cry. That has not gone away. Rallying Cry is always here to stay. It's a very stat dense set, because it gives you a lot of critical resistance, which you need these days. Also gives weapon damage, which is nice. It does reduce its overall effectiveness in a group scenario. So obviously solo it's better, because obviously you get more. I think it reduces the critical damage as you are grouped with more and more people. Critical resistance, sorry. So yeah, you're still seeing a lot of people running Rallying Cry, but it is one of the best defensive and offensive PvP sets in the game. So a lot of people are running that. The next thing I would say that obviously people are running is your Tarnished Nightmare, which again I know there's been a lot of problems with it. I've heard, you know, with people using it as a bomb thing with the another set combined. I've yet to actually try it. I've managed to just finally get the set together. I haven't got it in the proper traits and that, but I know it's an instant burst and it's looking very, very strong. So I will be doing a build on that as well. But yes, instant, crazy. A lot of people are using it on Nightblades. It is hitting super hard. Probably a little bit overtuned, but you know, they got to sell the DLCs, right, haven't they? Yeah, and it just does instant damage this glass, applying the sundered status effects. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely, you're seeing a lot of the Tarnished Nightmare without a doubt. You know, that is just, you know, everyone's go-to set. There is another set which is obviously very good on one of the later dungeons, but I've yet to actually get a full set of it, which is in the Oathsworn Pit, and that is the Cinders of Anthlamir, and that summons a cinder moth or something which does a lot of flame damage, similar to Flame Blossom, and that's hitting really hard as well, so I will be getting that set. So there's a couple of nice ganking sets which have been released in the DLCs dungeons, so you're going to see a lot of people running them because they're very strong at the moment. I don't know about the, you know, the new mythic, that last Aelid King. I don't think I've really seen anyone running it, but again, it's not a proc set, so it's hard to see if someone's running it. Like I said, it will probably have more relevance in no CP. Like I said, they did make some adjustments, so it does look okay, but it's probably not for me unless, you know, you're really a person that really wants to run no CP and you're sick of proc. I think it's good against fighting against people that are not running proc sets. So yeah, no CP, no proc campaign. It will have some benefit in there. But yeah, this patch is looking, you know, I did say the sorcerers were going to be meta, and people were saying that I was saying it, you know, they're not going to be meta. I'm saying it's too much, but really they have become the meta, or, you know, they're definitely close to the Nightblade now. You know, definitely say Nightblade and Sorcerer are up there. You're going to be seeing them two the most. Obviously Dragon Knights following close behind with the Wardens, and obviously you got, you know, the Necro and the Templars are at the bottom. But like I said, there is still some good Necros, definitely more of them, but it's more, you know, you have to really build specifically for Necros. They can still hit hard, but it's just a lot more difficult. And what I would say is, if you do find a really good Necro, it's probably because they're a really good player, and if they built that on a different class, they'd be even stronger. So you are always going to be at a disadvantage with Necro, unfortunately, but you can build still very good builds if you know what you're doing with them. So yeah, update 41 is a bit crazy. It's definitely shook things up with a lot of ganking sets that have come into play. The Sorcerers have come back, which I'm glad, because Sorcerer is actually technically my main character class. So I will be releasing a Sorcerer build soon. But yeah, they've definitely shook things up a little bit, but the Nightblades are still just top dog overall. It's just crazy. The battlegrounds have just gone mental with proc sets. It is definitely the proc meta, which it was previously, but it's only got worse. But I'm still enjoying update 41 and having a lot of fun. Hopefully next patch the Templars and Necro will get some more buffs and changes to bring them more in line. So yeah, that's pretty much my review of update 41. And obviously the next patch, I suppose, will be the chapter release, and we'll see what happens when we go from there. But yeah, it's not too bad at the moment. Like I said, I haven't really done too much on update 41 because I've only been mostly on console. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. But yeah, the Sorcerers I was struggling with before update 41. I was struggling definitely with the Mage Sorcs because they're quite difficult to learn, but I've been having a lot of, you know, I've been having an easy time with them. So they're definitely saying you can now more, because they had a higher, the problem with Nightblade and Sorcerers is they have a bit of a higher skill cap because there's a very lot of constant buffing, especially if you use 2 bars. a proper full-blown 2-bar meta setup. But now they have become a little bit easier to use, the sorcerers, because of that burst heal. Less skills required, so that you can know it's really shook things up. Yeah, it's made the sorcerers fun again, which I really did struggle with. I did always like sorcerers, but I just really struggled with them personally in a PvP scenario. But yeah, they're really good now and easier to play. So yeah, there we go. Update 41 is insane. It has been a crazy update, crazy sets. Obviously they're going to make some nerfs or whatever down the line, which they always do. But there we go. We just have to wait and see what happens next. So hope you enjoyed this video, just of my little rant about update 41. Drop it a like if you enjoyed it, or if you found the information useful, and I'll see you in the next video.